Hey, entrepreneurs, executives, and spammers. We started the Pallet House email and customer retention team to crush targets. And in our fourth year, we are the best customer retention team in the Roman character set. We use campaigns to fire up the addresses you spent so much money to acquire and build effective automations that keep your engagement window fat and drive value that you can amortize over years. The cheapest customer is the customer you already have, and the most effective ad funnels go to high-intent audience. Come to pilothouse.co, fill out the lead form, and ask to speak with me directly. I'll give you a free audit. Back to the show.
In the inbox late night, glowing screen, see the light. Email, everything feels alright.
This time we're going to go through Urban Outfitters. Push comes to shove, what are we all pushing for? Platform revenue. Everybody reports on platform revenue. So what they're doing here is going to drive platform, for sure. When someone clicks through the email, send them to a category page with imagery from the same shoot as your email. Why are we doing this? Because every single landing page must do, where am I, what do you want to do, what's in it for me? Homepage, this is where you do your most brandy stuff. Certainly, if you've got like video of people like dancing or whatever, they hit your homepage, you're going to show that. It's the world's best email and retention podcast, and I'm your host, Jordan Gordon. We are a member of the DTC network of podcasts and the philosophical home of the Pallet House email and customer retention team. If you want to make the sweet nectar of low-cost revenue a large part of your digital ecosystem, then follow us on your favorite podcast app today. This time we're going to go through Urban Outfitters. And if you were listening recently, we did an American Eagle versus Everlane. And kind of in the aftermath, that was like on my mind, and I was just kind of doing my thing. And I was going through Urban Outfitters just because it's just people that I follow, right? I follow lots of brands. And when I was going through the site, I said, oh, this has the stuff I wanted from both American Eagle and Everlane. They're doing this, like if I had to kind of certain tactics that were missing on one and were on the other, they got them both. So I thought, okay, well, I guess time for a fast follow on. Let's do Urban Outfitters 2, walk through and see what they're doing. This one is a visual episode. So, of course, we're going to talk through it. So if you're just driving, obviously if you're driving, do not watch YouTube. Yeah, we'll talk through it all. But if you are kind of sitting around or if you are driving and you want to see some of the visuals, just go check us out on YouTube so you can see the visuals. And we're talking about email and on-site. So obviously, as we've discussed before, it's a large on-site portion to our service now. So of course we're discussing on-site more. And that's actually where I saw specifically them doing things that were right. Lastly, hey, you know what? Someone mentioned to me, someone who came in as a lead said, hey, you should ask people to give you a positive review, right? So, hey, if you've liked any of these episodes and you're already subscribed, hey, why not just go and click wherever you got to click and give us a positive review right now to help us bring good email to the world. Okay, so Urban Outfitters. Let's just go. So first off, I'm not going to analyze all their subject lines like I did for American Eagle and Everlane because it's just, I remember from my days optimizing subject lines that it's the most soulless and boring subject lines that win. So it's just not something I'm going to analyze again. But if we look on the right, we will notice that they have a slightly lower send frequency. So I'd say like Urban Outfitters and American Eagle, it was like 1.5 emails a day. And definitely Urban Outfitters, it's more like an email a day. Still huge frequency, but I'll just say like a little bit less than I was getting from those earlier two. And also, as you can see, these as well are not doing preheader text. It's amazing to have 3 big brands in a row. We got one preheader here. The Urban Outfitters dress sale, 30% off. Shop our fave dresses on sale for a limited time. So obviously they're able to do preheader text, but only one subject line on this whole thing has preheader text, and the rest is this really nasty, like, link tracking stuff. I think that's a miss. Doesn't that one, the UO dress sale, 30% off? Shop our fave dresses on sale for a limited time. Doesn't that look cleaner and nicer. And it does to me. I think maybe they've missed out a bit with that preheader because it doesn't really add a whole lot. All sales are limited time, but at least they've used it. That was just a really quick subject line and inboxing talk. Now let's look at some designs. I'll just show you the stuff that I got in my inbox, right? After I signed up with them. You know what? The 15% off, it's it's to the point. It's lime green and says 15% off with some smiley faces. Again, a young fashion brand, just like American Eagle. But amazingly, no on model. There's just no on model shots on their welcome email, right? Now, if they don't have established essentials, that's why you wouldn't want to have on model on your welcome email, because the piece of clothing is going to suddenly not be in stock and you got to go in and edit your email. And you want to build an automated email system so for 2 or 3 years you don't need to make any edits to the emails. So that's probably why they did that. And then the next two are this 30% off all BDG jeans. We do this with some of our brands sometimes. They've got a big sale, or it's something big like Labor Day, and they just need more messages. And look, I'm just talk our service. Each email is like an individual work of art. But then, we actually just need more emails. Okay, fine. So we'll go make an individual work of art like this that is really, really easy to iterate on. And you do that by making a fairly neutral background so that the text over image works on it. And you just swap out the background and boom, boom, boom. You got another email. Really, really easy to bang out 10 emails this way and then be ready for your peak season. And you see lots of brands do this. So they've done it to make their 30% off sale work. And that's the kind of tactics you need to use if you're getting to an email a day, right? Which is, I guess, where these fashion brands are. I'll tell you, I personally don't think you get a whole lot more out of a good automated system and 3 emails a week. But these are big brands, so, who am I to tell them how to do their business, right? You definitely get a lot of attributed revenue, right? You definitely get... Numbers will go up. But if you ran a quarantine and you actually checked people who purchased in the first, say, 30 days or something like that, we talk about how to do that in very early episodes on DTC podcast. Would you really see more people make a purchase in the first 30 days or something like that? When you're not measuring email attributed revenue, you're just measuring buyers. Likely, I would say you don't really see a statistically significant difference, because sending twice as many emails does not drive twice as many purchases. But push comes to shove. What are we all pushing for? Platform revenue. Everybody reports on platform revenue. So what they're doing here is going to drive platform for sure. And I'll make a little comment. There's a whole lot of social down at the bottom. I didn't pre-check this on this because I'm not doing a social media analysis. But one thing I'll say, because we see this sometimes, is a brand has all those social buttons at the bottom. And you click through and it's like, oh, the last update was, March 2024, right? So don't have social buttons down there that lead to, what's Urban Outfitters doing on X, formerly Twitter? You know what I mean? Does it really need to be there? So just think about that on your template. It's one of those things that you just zone out. And you don't even realize that it's not optimized. And then I got this one, right? So I got a couple sale emails, pretty bland welcome email. Not a single picture of clothing in any of those. And then I got this one. And this one was like, hold the phone, right? When I saw this, I banged out some notes to some internals on our team. And I'm going to show you something on the next slide. So stick with me. But just to describe this to everybody, it's pretty short header that just says new. Hey, newness is huge, right? And then it's just full bleed image, full bleed image, full bleed image, full bleed image. And we've kind of talked about this before, the Ralph Lauren template. We talked about it long, long ago, where they do full bleed image and then simple text and then a hyperlink text link, not even a button, and then full bleed image, simple text, hyperlink, full bleed image. And this is like taking that and which is, what Ralph Lauren did in that template that we analyzed was very minimalist. And by the way, tested well. When we've tested that template, right? So it tested well. And this is like, you take that and amp it up to 11, where you're like, wait a second, I'm not even going to put text between these images. And the images, they're all studio shots. So you can see they've all got a gray background, right? Because it's a gray studio background. And you can see a little bit of a difference because if anybody's ever been in one of those photo studios, there's no bottom corner. It's just kind of rounded a bit. So there's a slight grade in the color so you can see when the next picture starts. But it's basically gray background, gray background, gray background, full bleed image, all the same size, on model shots, 4 of them in a row, and then a button. And then below that, more images. And it's like just pure image. And like when I say full bleed for people who don't have the visuals, I mean like there's no space between these images. It's just image, image, image. And I said, wait a second. Whoa, 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 whoa. Imagine if that was a browse abandon. So stick with me here, right? Look at this next image. And then let's talk about why I think this is cool. Why I actually banged out a bunch of messages to my internal team after seeing this email. So I'll just say idea, right? Imagine this was your browse abandon, right? What do we got there? The first product is the product you clicked on. And below that on desktop is a grid of 4 images. And then next to that, we see the mobile version, which is just 5 images. The item you clicked on, and then it is a 2x2 recommendation grid, but when you go mobile, it's just 1x4. And so you're actually just scrolling through 5 pure images, no space, no copy. This is window shopping. It's just like you're walking by Macy's. Is that a thing anymore? I don't know. I'm so old and I work from home. You're walking by window shopping, right? And yeah, I think it's so okay. That's an idea. And by the way, I saw it and we're going to give this a go. If you're interested in this template, you come to pallethouse.co, fill out the lead form. We'll talk to you. We'll set you up with this and some other amazing flow messages if you're interested. But let's go back to the Urban Outfitter version. Why do I think this is cool? Because who here reads the copy on the fashion emails they get? You know what I mean? Like, oh, let me read this sentence. And it's always like, fall back to spring or whatever, whatever crap it is, right? It's always the same thing. No one's reading that. So this one just is true to that. What does it say? New. That's all. That's it. That's all I see. New. Okay, so I know it's a launch email. And then just the pictures. It's a 1x1. It's a 1x4. So just image, 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 all above each other. And then in the next section, they start doing 2x2. So there's 2 images next to each other. So that then you start fitting in more images so people can shop more, but still full bleed and no white space behind it, except for this very small spots where there's just a CTA. I'm able to just consume pure product, pure looks, click through, go to the product page, and we stop kind of pretending that one sentence of copy in that email even matters, right? We just stop pretending that. It's fashion. So I thought this was a really, really, really cool template. Awesome treatment. It's inspired us a little bit. Perhaps it can inspire you a little bit too. Moving on. Then I got this email. And what do we see here? Good game. Featuring the UO Legends. And it's made to be sports. It's college sports fraternity. They're playing like I guess ping pong beer ball or whatever. I didn't do that in college. Yeah. And then the pom-poms and the mascot head. So it's clearly set up to be, it's like this is obviously for people going, freshmen or whatever, freshman year, you're getting ready for your freshman year. You got to get the fashion for it. If you look on the right, you can see the whole email and it is similar to what we were looking at. It's just image, and then kind of some copy, image, some copy, single column. That's not all full bleed. They make every second one look, it's kind of like a Polaroid, right? Although Polaroids aren't as tall, but they've given it kind of that Polaroid look where it's the image with kind of a white border. Maybe plays on this whole, memories for a lifetime as you go to college. And one nice animated GIF switching through. I noticed that they put the animated GIF not as the first image, but as the second image. And why would you do that? Because animated GIFs do load slower. So you want to make sure that people, when they click through, they see an image. So sometimes lead with a static and then have a dynamic on the second one. And I think that's very smart of them. Yeah, it's just you can tell that this is someone who's screwed up plenty of emails in their career, and they're just like every single one little thing they're just kind of getting right, you know? Yeah, so this was a cool email, I think, right? Just it's got the when you look at the animated GIF, actually all of them, they've kind of got a little bit of an Instagram filter feel on them, right? Which kind of just again ties into, it's a young audience and ties into this whole back to college kind of thing. So yeah, cool email, right? And then I clicked through, and it leads to a good game category page or collection page, whichever. I always forget Klaviyo and Shopify, which one's which. Same thing, just different name. So it goes through to a good game category page. And we've got more shots at the top. We got another great shot from the good game photo shoot. So just getting lots of use out of that. And of course, yeah, you know what? You when someone clicks through the email, send them to a category page with imagery from the same shoot as your email. Why are we doing this? Because every single landing page must do, where am I? What do you want to do? What's in it for me? And so when I see that same imagery, I go immediately, my mind goes, oh, I'm in the right place, right? I don't even need to think about it. Like, I'm in the right place. That's what you want someone to think the second. You don't want, the second they think, am I in the right place? You've broken the cognitive continuity, and you have to start the conversion session again in the middle of your click flow. So, great that they've got that imagery, and you know what? It hides some of the product below the fold. They don't think it matters, and these guys obviously they put time and money into testing this stuff. They know, so they know that putting that imagery there to reinforce where am I beats showing individual products. And the thing is, like, look, the products in the shot they're available in the collection. So you are, when you reinforce with that image at the top of the page, you are showing them the collection, right? So yeah, I've just done this myself and I know it works. So obviously repurpose some of that great photography from your shoot and put it at the top of your collection page. And this is where, like, yeah, we have kind of a service that does this too, where like you got to think about your email and your on-site as the same thing. So when you're putting together your feature email, you must be thinking about the category page they're landing to, and also subsequently the homepage, because people often escape the category page to go to the homepage, and you must match the in-email branding from your launch must match those two pages at the top. Again, to just really you're spending a lot of money on creating this experience and drawing someone into this experience. Don't have them leave that and go to your homepage and have it just something totally random, because you're totally taking them out of the world that you're trying to draw them into. So Urban Outfitters has done this bang on. Good job. Also, by the way, I'll say it is a still at the top of the category page, which is also better. This has been researched, and I've also done some tests which confirmed it. I'll say that I haven't tested it enough myself that I'd want to bet my life on it, but the tests that I have done have confirmed that when you have carousels, it decreases conversion rate because it distracts the eye. There's lots of research on this, so I tested it a bit, and the research confirmed with the tests, and it's enough for me to just do a still. You do a still. Someone sees the still, they've consumed it, and they want to move on. What do they want to move on to? What's down the page? If you have a carousel, they're going to just hang out at the top of the page looking at what's next in the carousel. Hey, what's next? Hey, what's next? And you're just like, whoa, 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 whoa. You want them to go buy a product, right? So I like that they've used a still at the top of the page to reinforce where they are, show some amazing products from the collection, and then of course I'm going to scroll down and start shopping. Now, when I escaped out, like I say, I went to the homepage. So let's look at what's on the homepage here. There's Good Game. Now they've got a moving image from Good Game. First thing we got is bags. Look, bags, that is different from the Good Game. And here's the Good Game. They have used moving imagery for Good Game here rather than the still. Why? Because homepage, this is where you do your most brandy stuff. So certainly if you've got like video of people like dancing or whatever, they hit your homepage, you're going to show that. because you are just displaying high quality content. You don't know, I mean, someone clicks through a category page, they're in a shopping mode. Someone just hits your homepage. You don't know how they got there. You don't know what they came from. When they come in and hit the category page through an email, you know that they're currently shopping, right? When they just hit the homepage direct, they haven't started that shopping session. They're very browse. So point being, homepage is where you're going to show your most contenty stuff, including the video. They have video from the good game shoot on the homepage. And then they progress down and show some more. So here, let's go through and see what they show. They show the bags. Okay, awesome. Let's shop for some bags. They show good game, some great video. Next, they show brands we love. These are obviously brands that they sell on the site. And then continuing, they feature a look. Looks like the pair of jeans. Modern Renaissance. Hey, now we're talking. We got some bedding, right? Then finally, we get to an actual category, right? We actually get to like a product shopping, including the cat with its head in a piece of toast. So we went through all of that stuff before we actually started shopping. Why? Because this is about discovery, right? Like I say, we showed the still in the category page because they've discovered. They got the email and they went, and the email is full of all kinds of discovery. And they said, I want. We send them there. They're shopping. Here, we don't know why they're there. This is the least information we could have about their shopping session when they hit home, right? So we spend all that work with really nice content, really nice imagery, trying to draw them in and find something they want. And if all of that flops, we're going to go and actually just have a category page. I'm not sure if those are dynamically loaded or if those are static. And if they're statics, it's stuff they want to sell right now. And if they're dynamic, it's, a rebuy like software. So that's what I saw when I escaped, and really good. Why did I bring you this after doing American Eagle and versus Everlane? Because I saw this and it was just doing a lot of stuff that was really good. So it's a good fast follow on. Okay, so I decide I want some pants. I'm a guy, so I shop for some guys' pants. And what do they have here? They have shop by fit with little images of the different kinds of the fits. And when I click one of those, it's going to pre-feed the search filters and bring me into the kind of pant I'm looking for. I think really strong. So this all aids discovery. You can actually go through the World's Best Email Retention podcast and find a lot about ways to improve email discovery. I think it's episode 26. I'm not exactly sure. I think 26. We talk about using email to improve discovery. Well, of course, the page, the site is also used to improve discovery. We just talked about the very high level way of improving discovery, which is the very contenty stuff on the homepage. Okay, we got to a category page. Let's improve discovery by just calling out the most basic thing, which is the kind of pant I want, right? And then after I chose that, I got my straight leg jeans. And first of all, let me say, is this what they call straight leg now? Right? The guy on the right those are very baggy, if you ask me. Of course, I'm an old man. Although I will say, thank God, skinny jeans kind of finally made this, slow death. You know what I mean? I guess skinny jeans aren't totally dead, but it's really nice to just see people pushing jeans that are comfortable again. It's that country song, a pair of jeans that fits just right. I like a pair of jeans that fit just right. That's what I'm wearing right now. So it pre-fed my filters. I'll click through on the skateboarder on the right with the Coors Light t-shirt and the very loose-fitting straight leg jeans. Look, I hit the PDP, the product detail page or product landing page, depending on how you say it. And there's nothing here that's too out of the ordinary at first. Lots of different sizing and colors. Okay, totally normal. But then when I scrolled down, this is what I saw. And I called this out when we first did this for American Eagle and Everlane. One of them, I forget which one of them was doing great at finishing the look, and one of them was doing great at recommending totally different products that could be the beginning of a new look, like by recommending, different kinds of the same kind of product, like different kinds of pants. This one, I've got to complete the look, and it offers me accessories that will look good with that product. And then below that, you may also like, which would be a broader set of recommendations. So there's two kinds of recommendations here. One, recommendations tied to that product. And then two, just recommendations. We do this, Klaviyo and Rebuy. You can do this yourself. You can make, for instance, you can go into product feeds and say, okay, give me recommendations tied to this category. Okay, give me recommendations tied to, not tied to anything. And, if you had for instance, a loose fit or straight fit jeans collection, you could do that. And it would just give recommendations for products that people bought or browsed that matched that specific category. So look, what they've done here is easy to do. And that's why it's important that they've done it. And the last two brands we analyzed hadn't done it right. So that's why one of the reasons I bring this to you, my beloved audience. So we've shopped, we got the product, and now it's helping me complete that look. And if I'm like, I just don't think I'm not digging this look, I immediately escape to new product discovery where I can start a whole new look and create a whole new shopping session, and arguably kind of double my site time. So just the right way to do that. I was really, really pleased to see how they did that. And, we do Klaviyo and Rebuy to do the same things. If you're interested, of course, come to palettehouse.co, fill out the lead form, and I'll speak to you directly. Continuing down, this is just some stuff I liked. Customers say runs small. So they've taken, you can see here, fit. Nice quality, but too small. And then there's kind of bolded, fit, run small. So obviously they've got a category. They've got a drop down when you do a return based on fit. And it'll say, well, what was wrong with the fit? Run small. And two people in a row have here run small. And so then they've aggregated that. They've got a little tool up top that says the average customer says this runs small. Awesome. Like really good. Because that helps me. I actually made a purchase on a site recently, and I'm in between medium and small. I'm not a huge guy, right? And I'm just on this weird, like everything's either, so stuff is either a little bit too big or a little bit too small. And this would have been great for me. And then, show the star rating. So this is cool too. This is just nice. Freebie for you, right? And then the last interesting stuff, and they've got a music section, and you can go in and you can buy CDs and vinyl and, all kinds of stuff like that, which is, hey, look, that's cool. I don't know how much money they're making off that. It's probably just there for the experience, but great. They're creating a nice brand experience. They've got, their Courier new font, and which just matches perfectly. And, you can shop through these categories. But then when you scroll down, it's got a playlist. Yeah, of course. And if you're a cool brand, or if you're any kind of brand, that cultural brand, right? Why not have a playlist? Why not have a few playlists? I mean, if you're doing kind of air filters, maybe you don't need a playlist. But if you're like a culture brand, absolutely. And so they've got it on their site. Great. You can go check out their playlist or their playlists. Feels like summer, so they probably do more than one. They probably launch one fairly regularly. Okay. Why not have welcome email too? Have your playlist. Why not have site abandon too? Have that playlist too. So the first one is, let's get someone shopping. And the second one, so site abandon, you'd start with site abandon would have bestsellers. Site abandon 1 would have bestsellers. Site abandon 2 would have new to site. In case bestsellers didn't work, they didn't get to the catalog. You don't know if they know what's in the catalog, so you show them what's new to the catalog. And then below that, show your playlist, right? We've done this for clients. It's super cool. If you're interested, come check it out. We'll help you with that, of course. But if you're just playing along at home, I want to have a playlist. So I saw that and was pleased. I think that's my last slide. That's a nice little kind of half an hour analysis of Urban Outfitters, a little bit faster than my analyses of American Eagle and Everlane. But I didn't want to repeat a bunch of stuff I'd already said. I wanted to compare and contrast some of the things that these guys are doing that I just thought was bang on in the kind of aftermath of the American Eagle versus Urban Outfitter competition. Great to have a chance to chat with you all again. Entrepreneurs, executives, spammers, and webmasters. Have fun spamming.
In the inbox late night, glowing screen, see the light. Email, everything feels alright.
Hey entrepreneurs and spammers, remember, you can't scale without email, and the cheapest customer to acquire is the customer you already have. So please subscribe to the world's best email and retention podcast and learn how to make low-cost revenue a big part of your digital ecosystem.